Why Ron DeSantis Disney fight matters. I moved my family and 2 businesses from California to Florida because of Ron DeSantis' leadership. The true test of leaders is when they put aside political self-interest. In Florida, political self-interest rose to an all-time high, following endless calls for Governor Ron DeSantis to surrender his fight against Disney and the woke mob. Disney, the largest employer in the state of Florida, has pulled the strings of Tallahassee politicians for over 40 years. Those strings were finally cut when DeSantis became governor. Most standard politicians would have caved to the public pressure overnight, especially if they were even contemplating a run for president. But DeSantis didn't, and his display of courage and conviction in the fight against Disney is exactly why he should be the next president of the United States. Political memories are notoriously short, but let's not forget, Disney took a shot at Florida first. The Florida legislature had passed a bill protecting children from sexualized content in classrooms, a law that earned the overwhelming favor of countless teachers and legions of parents. With no working knowledge of the legislation, Disney attacked the governor for signing the bill into law. A handful of Disney employees pressured the company's then CEO, Bob Chapek, into action. What followed was a familiar ritual: the woke CEO merry-go-round. First you side with the social justice warriors and take a stand. Then you learn that you've overstepped, and just sit right back down. Then, having ticked off pretty much everyone, you get slammed for sitting down after standing up. And then you get fired. Thus, Bob Chapek was out, and another Bob Iger, returned to Disney. This is where most politicians might have left it. But Disney's intrusive and arrogant behavior forced a hard question. Why does Disney, a multi-billion-dollar, California-headquartered corporation, get special tax treatments and handouts in the state of Florida? Why are they allowed to essentially operate as a pseudo-government in the state, and what permits Disney the access to corporate welfare unavailable to small businesses? The answer was because the Sunshine State's chief executives, including Republicans, had operated for decades sheepishly looking the other way on corporatism and gave them a pass because it's Disney. But DeSantis decided to change the game. He bucked Disney of its unjust ties with the Florida government by revoking their special privileges with the state. Even though the left and corporate media painted this move as unfair, it wasn't. He was taking the crony out of crony capitalism and evening the playing field, as is the promise of America. Republicans have spent years chirping about fighting big government and big corporations, but none have had the guts or political conviction to truly act on these issues. Not even Donald Trump. These pet Republicans, as I often refer to them on my show, trade short-term election wins that turn out to be losses in the exchange for long-term bloated government. What Ron DeSantis did in Florida is what Republicans should have done years ago. Corporations like Disney are far too eager to lobby for tax breaks and be given special favors from Republican politicians, only to turn around and smear the right as soon as woke activist agendas get in their ears. Over and over, Republicans fall for the trick, debasing themselves before companies that send jobs overseas, poison the culture with insane left-wing ideology, and, in Disney's case, push this toxicity onto young children. DeSantis said, "Enough is enough." To do that in any year would have been a case study in political courage, but to do it on the cusp of a presidential run is a shining example of the leadership our country needs. We finally have a presidential contender we can count on to put Americans, not corporations, first.